It is okay that you feel lost right now. It's okay that you don't know where you have to go, who you're supposed to be. It's okay. Not everybody, or I should say, nobody in history has always known what they should be doing, who they are. If you think of some of the people you admire in your life, people that have influenced you, that have made you think differently, their history is full of periods of time where they did not know who they are before they figured out the next evolution of themselves and now ventured into the next chapter of their life. Oftentimes, we are controlled by the stories in our minds, and it does us no good once we are in this place of confusion and identity loss to then sit in our minds. Because the mind, if you sit in it, it will absolutely cripple you and it snowballs. I'm sure everybody knows that you start to get worried about the future. And as you start to get worried, you get anxious. As you get anxious, you're worried, you're anxious. And thus this loop pattern begins. I call them loop patterns. These stories control everything. These stories also trail all the way down into the unconscious mind. And beneath the unconscious mind, we are filled with complexes. Everybody is filled with complexes. And these complexes, if not addressed, looked at how it influences us. How does it shape the way we see things? If we leave them to their own devices, they have almost a personality of their own. And they will control you to a degree. Make you think things you otherwise wouldn't think, make you act in ways otherwise you wouldn't act. And once we're in this, use an analogy of the desert, wandering the desert, not knowing where to go, those things can get much worse. And so, what I want to pass on to you today is allow yourself to be a nobody. Don't resist it. Let go of titles. Let go of expectations. Let go of who you're supposed to be, who you think you're supposed to be, just for a short period of time. To allow yourself to find yourself again. It's almost somewhat of an ironic situation where we look outward constantly, looking around and trying to find the next thing. And maybe if I build this, maybe if I own this and get this, maybe if I have 10 people under my wing that I can tell what to do, maybe if I do X, Y, and Z, that's going to help. That's going to rebuild and reshape me. But everything you need to figure out what's wrong is all within. And it's instead of venturing out this way, venture the same distance but inward. Of course, that's uncomfortable. Of course, it's scary because we have to acknowledge the faults and the issues and the tragedies of our lives. We have to face them with curiosity and venture, empathy, but also a firm hand if needed, because it's not always the case that we were victims in our lives. Oftentimes, we were the perpetrators. Oftentimes, we were the bullies. We were the ones with ego inflation that, like Icarus, flew too close to the sun. And so we need to see every angle of ourselves. Journaling is a wonderful way. I always advise my clients to journal. And I too journal. I have this for myself to journal and write down my thoughts and my dreams to separate from them. Because during this period of being a nobody, if you want to rediscover who you are, you need to be able to observe yourself without attachment. You need to see what are the patterns of your thinking, what are the patterns of your emotions, what are the narratives you've lived by, in order for you to actually make some sort of acceptance or reinterpretation. You need to be able to observe it from afar. And so journaling is a wonderful way to do that. By doing that for a couple of weeks, and by also at the same time trying to rediscover the inner soul that you have, that inner child. Now, you can't be kids again, but you can find a way to inhabit that spirit that you had as a child. And the way you can inhabit is by first understanding that it can be a place of curiosity, adventure, excitement, and new discoveries, but all nested within the moment. Being in the moment as much as possible, immersing yourself in senses and touches and sight, and getting lost in an activity. And so I recommend people to activate that through action. Oftentimes through thought it's not enough. To activate that inner child, we can do it through action. You can do it through chaos play, playing without rules, boundaries, or limitations. Doing absurdity, being goofy, being silly, being a bit mischievous, obviously in a good-hearted way. Destructive play, much like building up a sandcastle, just breaking it back down again. Some of us like to do that. So there's many ways you can activate that inner child to bring it forward. And as you do that, there are going to be elements of it that you're not going to like to look at. And that's okay. But remember, approach it with curiosity. Approach it with adventure. Approach it with both the father figure, the firm but compassionate hand, and also the mother figure, the nurturer, the empath. Having those in union when you approach yourself is going to be a gentle way for you to massage out those emotional knots that live beneath the surface of where you can't see. None of us can see it, but you can feel. And so remind yourself this is part of the process of your evolution, of your transition to a more integrated ego and self, ego and soul. That's something that I've putting my work towards, to not only expand it further and deeper in myself, but to do the exact same thing for other people. So if this resonated with you, I would love for you to join my community. If you click that link below, it'll send you over to my website. And if you sign up to my monthly newsletter, I send right when you sign up my 3-step identity rebuilding guide. This is the community I wish I personally had when I was going through my identity crisis and didn't know who I was and was crying more often than not, feeling confused, detached from everything, not living really, just this husk that walks around. So if that sounds familiar and you want to rebuild purpose back into your life, rediscover who you are, and to move towards a journey of full integration, go ahead and click that link, join our community. I would love to have you be a part of it. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video.